Imagine you are investigating why some plants in your school garden are growing faster than others. You are acting like a biologist, and the tool you will use is called the scientific method. It is a clear, step-by-step way to ask questions, test answers, and understand what is really happening in nature. The first step is observation. This means carefully noticing what is happening around you. In our example, you observe that some plants in the garden are greener and taller than others. You also notice that the tallest plants are close to the water source, while the shorter plants are farther away. Your observation could be stated like this: plants near the water source are taller and greener than plants far from the source. The second step is to ask a clear question about what you observed. A good scientific question is specific and can be tested. In this case, you might ask, does water availability affect plant growth? Your question becomes, do plants that receive more water grow better than plants that receive less water? The third step is to form a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable explanation or possible answer to your question. It should be written as a clear statement that you can test with an experiment. In our example, your hypothesis could be, plants near the water source grow better because they get more water than plants farther away. The fourth step is to make a prediction based on your hypothesis. A prediction usually has an if-then structure. It tells you what you expect to see if your hypothesis is correct. For our plant experiment, your prediction might be, if plants get more water, then they will grow taller and have more leaves than plants that get less water. The fifth step is to design and carry out an experiment to test the hypothesis. A good experiment has clear groups and controlled conditions, so you can compare results. You decide to use two groups of similar plants. Group A will be your more water group, and Group B will be your less water group. For example, you could set up your experiment like this. Group A, plants that are watered daily, similar to plants near the water source. Group B, plants that are watered once a week, similar to plants far from the water source. You keep other factors, such as the type of plant, size of pots, soil type, and amount of sunlight, as similar as possible. You then measure the height of each plant at the start of the experiment. Over the next 2 weeks, you continue your watering schedule, daily for Group A and weekly for Group B. At the end of the 2 weeks, you measure the height again and count the number of leaves on each plant. The sixth step is analysis. This means carefully looking at the data you collected to see what it tells you. You can calculate how much each plant grew and compare the average growth of Group A and Group B. For example, your results might show that plants watered daily in Group A grew about 10 centimeters over 2 weeks, while plants watered weekly in Group B grew only about 2 centimeters in the same time. You might also find that plants in Group A have more leaves than those in Group B. The seventh step is drawing a conclusion. Here, you decide whether your data supports or does not support your hypothesis. A conclusion should be based on the evidence, not on what you hoped would happen. In our example, the plants that received more water grew taller and had more leaves. This supports your hypothesis that water availability affects plant growth. Your conclusion could be, plants that receive more water grow better than plants that receive less water, at least under the conditions of this experiment. It is important to remember that even if your hypothesis is not supported, the experiment is still useful. It tells you that your original idea may be incorrect or incomplete, and it helps you think of new questions and hypotheses. The final step is sharing your results. Scientists share their findings with others so that their work can be checked, repeated, and used to build new knowledge. Sharing can be done through lab reports, presentations, scientific papers, or discussions. In our simple school example, you might share your results with your classmates, your teacher, or your gardening club. You could present your question, hypothesis, experimental groups, data and conclusion, and explain what you learned about plant growth and water. Let's quickly recap the steps of the scientific method in biology using our plant experiment. Step 1. Observation. You notice a pattern, such as some plants growing faster than others. Step 2. Question. You ask why this is happening. Step 3. Hypothesis. You propose a testable explanation. Step 4. Prediction. You state what you expect to happen if your hypothesis is correct. Step 5. Experiment. You design and carry out a fair test. Step 6. Analysis. You examine your data and look for patterns. Step 7. Conclusion. You decide whether the evidence supports your hypothesis. Step 8. Share. You communicate your results to others. The scientific method is important because it helps biologists and other scientists move from simple observations to reliable conclusions. It reduces the influence of personal opinions and focuses on evidence. By using these steps, we can test ideas, learn from mistakes, and gradually build a more accurate understanding of the living world. Science grows when curious people ask good questions, test their ideas carefully, and share what they discover. If you found this explanation helpful, support this channel so more students can learn scientific skills and gain confidence in biology. Remember to like this video, share it with your classmates, and subscribe so you don't miss more lessons on biology, experiments, and scientific thinking.